Welcome to Fright Fest and welcome to Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. I hope you're excited. Hey! There we go, playing against somebody who knows the channel, so pretty cool. As far as opening hand goes, we've got Sunken Ruins, Halimar Depths. We have a fetch land to kind of shake up Halimar Depths if you don't like what we've got going on. We've got a Planeswalker, card draw. Love this. We're going to keep on this opening hand. The only thing that can make this hand better is if we had Ancient Tomb. And then other than that, I will take it. But yes, welcome to Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. I do have a little bit of bad news to start off with this video. I do apologize. It's like you've already clicked on the video, but once you get on Mr. Bones' Wild Ride, you can never get off. So if you want to contact your family members to let you know that you're going to be on Mr. Bones' Wild Ride for the rest of your life, I would suggest that, and we'll definitely find you a job here on the ship. But yeah, that is. Once you get on Mr. Bones' Wild Ride, you can never get off. That's how it goes. So let's go and go for Halimar Depths. Look at the top three cards of our life. Welcome, crewmate. Give yourself a pat on the back. Halimar Depths. Yeah, I like this. We have Chromatic Lantern. This will be another card draw. I mean, a little bit of mana ramp. Crumbling Ashes is going to work out well with the Skeleton Ship. Yeah, I don't think we're even going to go for Flooded Strand. Let's go ahead and put. Let's go Crumbling Ashes, Chromatic Lantern. I'll put Drowned Catacomb on top of our library. Then anything else, we're going to pass the turn to our opponent. So we're playing Mr. Bones' Wild Ride, Skeleton Ship. When you control no island, sacrifice Skeleton Ship. Then for a tap activation, put a -1 counter on target creature. We are playing against Jodah, the 5-color circus over there. Flying may pay Wooburg rather than pay the mana cost for spells that you cast. And we'll see what sort of fun shenanigans we're up against here in just a second. Let's go and get down Drowned Catacomb. Now, one thing that we do definitely need to keep in mind is that with Skeleton Ship, we need to have an island down. If we don't have an island, there's nothing for Skeleton Ship to float in, so that will not work. So let's go and get down Mana Vault, and then we'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. Yeah, when I recorded this video last year, and actually if you're new to the channel, so let me kind of explain that. So I do seasonal decks sometimes from time to time, and Mr. Bones' Wild Ride is definitely a seasonal deck. It's my Halloween deck. Always have fun playing it. In fact, Mr. Bones has always been my Halloween deck only, and this is the first year that I wanted to do an entire Fright Fest week. But Mr. Bones' Wild Ride is the original Halloween deck, so this is why we have it out on Friday, because Mr. Bones means that much to us. It's always really nice. Drawn to Chromatic Lantern. Let's go to get down Sunken Ruins. We could get down Flooded Strand, and we miss out on and get down Skeleton Ship if we want to. You know, let's just go and get down Sunken Ruins. And let's go ahead and get down Chromatic Lantern. If we need to go for the throat to take care of Jodah, we can certainly do that. I don't really want to, but at least that keeps us open on if they get down Jodah, the 5-color Circus Maniac, and they get down Lightning Greaves onto Jodah, then we can at least have some sort of answer for Jodah on the battlefield. At least kind of delay them for a turn, especially them getting some of these come into play tap lands. But yeah, as far as the actual deck itself, you know, this is straight up get down Skeleton Ship, start putting some -1 counters on some creatures, and then use the Proliferate ability. So we do have actually a lot of Planeswalkers in here. So it almost kind of like this weird kind of, I don't think how to describe it, kind of like a Planeswalker deck / black-blue control / just have some fun. I don't know. Let's go for the throat. I'm okay with it. Unfortunately, we're gonna miss out on some of this mana from Mana Vault. But yeah, we want to get Jodah. We want to get that commander tax going on Jodah. That's one of the best ways to make sure that it's hard for them to keep Jodah on the battlefield. And then at least next turn we can get down Omnixilus, and then the following turn we'll go for the Mana Vault untap, and that way we can still at least kind of have something to show for us tapping down Mana Vault by getting some card advantage from Omnixilus. So that should make a difference. And then especially once we get Mana Vault untap, that's going to allow us to go for a Stroke of Genius, which is always really good. There we go. Sorry if you saw my mouse go crazy for a second. I got a new mouse, and it there's a button on top, which is kind of weird, like design. I guess not a design flaw, but it's just kind of like, I guess it is. There's a button on top that changes the speed of the mouse, and so there's some times where it's just like, woof, goes really quick. Let's go and crack Flooded Strand. That way we can get an island for Skeleton Ship so it can float on our side of the battlefield. Let's go and grab Underground Sea, and then let's go and go for Omnixilus. That'll be a good way for us to get some good card advantage. I like that. Tap down for black. Let's get down Omnixilus. Let's go for the +1 ability. Draw a card and lose a life, which is always good. And then we can actually really slowly work towards draw the Time Twister. I think I like that. All right, let's go and pass turn to our opponent. So we did draw on the Time Twister, so if we actually end up tapping down 4 mana for Mana Vault, we'd have to hit the land drop, and that would basically keep us off of Time Twister. So I guess at this point right now, we could just straight up go for Time Twister. If we end up going for that, I'd like to get down Tezzer's Gambit. That way we can draw 2 cards, then proliferate to kind of get the loyalty going on Nixilis, if possible. Unfortunately, against Jodah, this is kind of like a one-man circus, like I mentioned earlier. So getting down Skeleton Ship, it works out really well with stuff like Crumbling Ashes, but if our opponent doesn't really have a lot of creatures on the battlefield, pretty much we can kind of use Skeleton Ship and just basically use removal instead of the Skeleton Ship. Opponent's going to go for Wildfire Eternal. Whenever it attacks and isn't blocked, you may cast instant or sorcery from your hand without paying its mana cost. Ruh-roh. Alright, let's see if we don't, hopefully we don't die right now. Let's see what they have to show for it. Okay, so they go for a Brilliant Ultimatum. Exile the top 5 cards of your library, and opponent separates those in 2 piles. You may play any number of those cards from one of those piles without paying their mana cost. Okay. Whew, this is, it's not looking so hot. Let's do this. Let's put down Violent Ultimatum, and then we'll give them Artisan of Kozilek, we'll give them Primordial, and give them 2 lands. If they destroy 3 permanents, that's not good. So let's just click OK on this one, on this Brilliant Ultimatum. And I don't know, this is pretty fun. What else would you expect from a Mr. Bones wild ride? It's a wild ride for a reason, so hopefully we can ride this storm out. All right, so they do end up going for Violent Ultimatum. I don't blame them. So they blast, let's see, did they swing in with... Excuse me, they did swing in at Wildfire and Nixilis, so they will end up going for Violent Ultimatum on Chromatic Lantern and basically just kind of knock out our mana base. But thankfully, hopefully, you know, that was not too bad. We survived an ultimatum. So we still have, ooh, we hit the land drop too, so let's go to get down Island. And since we did end up missing out on Nixilis, so I'm pretty much, well, they got 3 cards in the hand, so if we end up going for Time Twister, that's going to give them a fresh grip of cards to cast. But if we don't take care of Wildfire Eternal, then there's not much we can do about it. Yeah, let's go and go for Time Twister. It's not the best play to go for, but at this point right now, it's better than nothing. Hopefully we kind of Time Twister into a counter spell and stop whatever they can cast off of Wildfire Eternal. And then that's going to be Rhystic Study, Polymorph Jest, and then Lightning Greaves. We do have Go for the Throat, but unfortunately that's going to have Shroud, so there's nothing we can do about that. Let's go and get down Lightning Greaves because... yeah, that's better than nothing. We'll get down Lightning Greaves and then we'll go and pass the turn, but I'm afraid that Time Twister probably gave them some more juice to start casting some stuff. Let's go and get down Lightning Greaves, and then we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent, and then hopefully pray that these rough seas don't get any rough anymore, and we get down Skeleton Ship. But yeah, outside of the deck, you know, we do have some fun stuff in here like Polymorph's Jest. Until end of turn, each creature target player controls that loses all abilities and becomes a frog. That's always cool, but the main thing is it's base toughness in 1/1. So that's going to work out really well with Skeleton Ship. We get down Freed from Real, and that's going to allow us to start untapping and tapping Skeleton Ship, so we can basically just kind of start rocking the waves with Skeleton Ship, and then end up with some really good -1 counters on our opponent's creatures, really kind of clean up the board state. And then other than that, just some good value stuff. Let's see what our opponent's going to cast off his Wildfire Eternal, if we can survive this turn. They're going to get down Swiftfoot Boots. If they're dumping a bunch of utility lands, or utility pieces, I feel okay about our chances of surviving. If we do draw into board wipe, that'll definitely allow us to take care of Wildfire Eternal, but let's see what they're going to go off of this activation. And then look at the art on Wildfire, man, that is... It reminds me of like an old Nintendo game or something like that, the fighter. All right, interpret the signs. Scry 3, reveal the top card of your library. Draw cards equal to that card's converted mana cost. Okay, so if that's the worst they're going to do off Wildfire Eternal, we will definitely take that. So let's go and let them get that resolved, and then we will... yeah, they have to reveal. So we'll get the reveal zone popped up. Let them get that going, and we'll talk about what they reveal. And that's going to be Bring to Light is off of the reveal zone. Now with Bring to Light, unfortunately, that will allow them to draw some cards, but they can't cast it because basically they need that colored mana to go. Now here's the kicker with Polymorph's Jest. Each creature target player controls loses all abilities and becomes a blue base frog token. That will allow us to go for the Throat, I think. We'll see. I was going to get down Polluted Delta. So we get down Polluted Delta. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That puts us online for Polymorph Jest. Let me look at something real quick. Yeah, let's go. I'm trying to look online real quick, but I can't see a ruling on it. So I think Polymorph just should make it to where it's a 1/1, and then allow us to go for the throat. So let's go and do that. Let's say they don't really get anything down crazy this turn. That'll still allow us to go for Impulse, but at least for the line of play that we're going to go for right now, that's going to be Polymorph, and then we'll end up going for go for the throat on Wildfire Eternal. That way, it kind of forces them to at least swing in for Wildfire with the hopes of them maybe getting to cast something out of their hand. But if I'm correct, it says each creature loses all abilities, even if they're gained abilities, they just turn into 1/1. So I think that should work that way. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and we'll try to survive the spell, whatever they cast. That's one of the downsides to recording, is that you can't call a judge over real quick, just kind of clarify something. So we'll see if this ends up working or not, and see what they get going. And then yeah, let's go and go for a Polymorph's Chest. Yeah, we're going to choose target player. And I just love the thought of Wildfire. Okay, I think, okay, that does work. So we can end up going for go for the throat. Beautiful. All right, so we're going to go for the throat. It's going to turn into a blue frog. It's going to get into the graveyard. And then anything else. Yeah, let's go and crack Polluted Delta. I mean, we could represent some sort of counter magic, but we'll go and let them do their turn. That way we don't have to kind of keep... leave that mana up, or at least I forget about it. Let's go and grab Fetid Pools. It's going to come into play tapped, and then we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. Now, as far as next turn goes, we can get down Rhystic Study. It's really not probably what we're wanting to do this late in the game. Unfortunately, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've got about 7 mana. That does get into spots where we hopefully might be able to get some sort of card draw going, but more than likely, we'll probably get down Skeleton Ship and get down Lightning Greaves. At least it's going to allow us to kind of start putting some -1 counters on some of our opponent's creatures. The only downside is that they do have Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots, so it makes that the task of doing that a little bit hard. So hopefully we can maybe kind of impulse into one of our Planeswalkers, and that'll give us another win condition to kind of start working towards. Okay, opponent's going to get down Fist of the Suns, and basically it's going to allow them to pay Wooburg rather than pay these spells, and they actually end up passing the turn to us. Okay, and we'll take that. Let's see what we draw into. Draw into Thrumming Bird. Let's go to get down Swamp. Yeah, I guess at this point, we're going to go for Impulse. Let's just kind of see what's on the top part of our library. If we want to go for Skeleton Ship, we can certainly go for that, but we'll at least go for Impulse at this point. And then, ooh, that is... not exactly what we wanted to see. Yeah, I guess we grab Torment of Hellfire. Not too bad. We'll put those on the bottom in any order. Let's go ahead and get down a Skeleton Ship. Now, the good thing about us getting down Skeleton Ship is that we can still at least get a -1 counter onto Jodah if it enters the battlefield. Let's go and get Lightning Greaves on the Skeleton Ship. Keep our fingers crossed that it gets on there. Yeah, there we go. All right, we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. So, unfortunately, the 0/3, we can't do anything. But like I mentioned, we can get that -1 counter onto Jodah. And then we can use the Proliferate ability to double the amount of -1 counters on there. Even if it does have Shroud from something like Lightning Greaves, we can still get around it with the Proliferate trigger. And actually, we get down Thrumming Bird next turn. Once we get the -1 counter on whatever creature, swing across with haste from Lightning Greaves and then put it back over there and still get the Proliferate. So at least at this point right now, we just need to get into some sort of Planeswalker to take advantage of Thrumming Bird. We do have Tameo in here. That's one way we can get a really good ultimate going. We also have Omnixilus, I think... Was that this game? Yeah, that was this game. Because it got shuffled back. Yeah, it got shuffled back in with Time Twister. Sorry. I've been recording a lot today, so I'm trying to remember which games happened. All right, so opponent's going to go for Cruel Ultimatum. And that was a, yeah, they cast that. So, target opponent sacrifices a creature, discards 3 cards, loses 5 life, then return a creature from the graveyard. Oh, this is brutal. Okay, so we're going to have to unfortunately sacrifice Skeleton Ship. Let's go ahead and discard 3 cards. Definitely going to get rid of Rhystic Study. I guess Thrumming Bird. And the Torment of Hellfire. Because let's say they get down something really nice with Wildfire Eternal for some reason. We can still go for Phyrexian Metamorph and then make a copy of it and go for Lightning Greaves. So let's say that they do get down something crazy other than Wildfire Eternal. That still gives us another opportunity to go for. But yeah, Mr. Bones Wild Ride. You can see firsthand, this deck's not so good. It's still fun to play though. Like it's one of those decks that when it gets going and you get those -1 counters going, and then like you can start untapping Skeleton Ship, it's a lot of fun. It's kind of like Ramsey's Overdark. It's just like, if the if the stars align to where you can get a really good board state developed, it's a lot of fun. But most of the time, you're earning your win with Skeleton Ship. So this has been a pretty fun game. So I'll definitely go and post this one up. But yeah, just wanted to get that out there that Skeleton Ship is not going to give you any free wins anytime soon. That's not what Skeleton Ship does. He wants to make this long, drawn out. Ooh, Corrupted Conscience. Huh. If we're still going to go for that really nice line of play, like whatever sort of hasty creature they get down, let's do this. Let's go for a Phyrexian Metamorph. Have it enter the battlefield as a copy of Swiftfoot Boots. Lightning Greaves have Shroud. Yeah, I think that'll still work with Corrupted Conscience. Yeah, let's do that. So let's go for Phyrexian Metamorph. And at this point, we're not going to pay that 4 life. We're just going to get down Phyrexian Metamorph, make it become a copy of Lightning Greaves, because that'll still allow us to give some sort of creature infect and then swing across. We just need our opponent to get down some sort of creature. We did see some Eldrazi in here. We saw the Artisan of Kozilek earlier. So that's something that we can give it infect, and we can somehow deal with whatever's on our opponent's side of the board. Might be able to close it out that way. So that's another way for us to win, is to kind of win with infect with Corrupted Conscience. So, and it's always, I think I got a pretty good Corrupted Conscience win one time with this deck last year. In fact, if you want to check out some of the old, Terastodon. Let's see if they end up targeting Lightning Greaves. Please don't target Lightning Greaves. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. Now that puts us in a spot. Okay, they do end up targeting Lightning Greaves, but we end up with Corrupted Conscience. So we can still gain control of that and still deal some damage to our opponent, end up with a bunch of elephants too. I think I like that. Now that does leave them open to some sort of board wipe, but at least kind of forcing the issue with grabbing Mr. Elefante over there. Yeah, we can go for Corrupted Conscience. I like that. We'll see what we draw into, though, but I definitely like taking... That's going to basically be one of the best targets for us to grab. It's going to be Terastodon to make it nice and corrupted. Oh, bummer. So they do end up putting the Swiftfoot Boots onto Terastodon, which is not going to allow... Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking they wouldn't do that, but of course, it makes sense. Why would they not do that? Let's go to get down Island. It's like I just... Like, sometimes when it gets late game and, like, I'm just in top deck mode, I'm just like, I forget about our opponent's board state. I'm just like, oh, yeah, we'll get control of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So basically, we can't get down Skeleton Ship. Now, it's going to be 7 mana. Yeah. We're going to have to go and pass the turn. Let's go kick over our opponent. If they want to start swinging in with Terastodon, they certainly can. But yeah, like you mentioned, I just got... yeah, when you get to the point where you've been recording for a while and you get a late game like this, and the thought of just winning off a Corrupted Conscience and like a quick little haste option, just like you get horse blinders on really quick. And so, yeah, I forgot about Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots over there. That's I don't know if anybody plays paintball, but I used to play paintball back in high school. And so I remember this one guy told me, you know, don't get horse blinders on. You know, if let's say you're on the paintball field and you see somebody in like the back bunker and you're just like honed in on them, just trying to like, you know, catch them whenever they pop around the corner. You know, if you get horse blinders on, just staring at that one person behind the bunker, you don't realize somebody's coming up on the other side. Oh, a plague wind. Ooh. Gnarly. You don't really know somebody's maybe coming up on the other side because you're so focused on that one creature. So, or at least on that one person behind them. I guess technically a human behind a bunker could be considered a creature, but it's probably not the correct terminology. But yeah, just basically make sure that you keep your decision making pretty open. All right, so we do have 2 more basics, so we can get down Sunken Hollow. Let's go ahead and just straight up hardcast Skeleton Ship. That's going to be good. I like that. We've had a pretty fun Mr. Bones Wild Ride today, and then let's go and pass the turn to our opponent. So we can still at least block with Skeleton Ship, end up with a 0-1 on the battlefield, and if for some reason they get down some really big creature and don't give it protection, we still have Corrupted Conscience to have some fun with this particular deck, but it's kind of basically how the deck kind of plays out sometimes, is you end up just getting beat late game. You run out of steam really quick, and then nothing really happened. So we went ahead and took that one just because even if we block with Skeleton Ship, that's not going to do much at this point right now. If they have some sort of burn spell, they've got it. But if we're playing to our outs, we'd rather have Skeleton Ship up for some reason, some form or fashion. We'd rather have it on the battlefield this second turn. So I'll see what our opponent's going to roll out. They get down Wildfire Eternal. All right, let's see what we draw into. Draw into Aetherling. which does not have haste, and we can't really do anything to that. Good game to our opponent, so good game. And also, if you're wondering why Aetherling's in here, it's one of my favorite cards from Ravnica, and I just love it. And it's just always a fun way to kind of close games out sometimes. So, good game to our opponent. They're definitely going to get it on this one. I would say if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, because that would, assume that you're going to get off Mr. Bones' Wild Ride, so you're not. So basically, enjoy your time on Mr. Bones' Wild Ride, and I will see you probably later tonight on the in the mess hall whenever you get to eat. You're never getting off the ship, no matter how hard you try.